Today's featured supplier guest is Solera, and the topic is your DMS worth the extra cost? And we have our VP of Operations, Chuck Pappas, to come on in just a moment to give us some opening comments. Chuck, can you go ahead and activate your webcam, and we'll get underway.
Well, welcome everyone. We're glad you're joining us today. Thank you for registering for our new another one of our profit improvement webinars. This afternoon, we're pleased to present Ed Murray and Tracy Van Allen from Solera. DMS, a big subject. Just about every single dealership has installed a DMS system. Ed and Tracy will show you how to know when your DMS system costs you too much and what you can do about it. We have the slide up right now. If you want to scan this thing, this QR code, and we'll make sure that you get a copy of this webinar right away. After you review it a second time after their presentation today, I'm sure you'll be able to ask Ed and Tracy questions and they'll be able to answer. You know, we started this webinar series about 3 years ago. And in the course of these webinars, we have presented a number of expense categories: audit recovery, how to reduce your shipping costs, revenue producing opportunities, and our popular buy-sell webinars. All of these intended to help you reduce your expenses and improve your profitability. If you're new to the series, kind of keep an eye out for what we're doing here because there's more profit improvement topics that are going to be coming up. With that, I'll turn it over to Ed and Tracy. Ed, Tracy, take it away.
Thank you, Chuck. Now let's dive into the presentation and start talking DMS. To get started, we're going to do a quick poll to see who's in the audience today. Are you a dealer principal, manager, outside vendor, strategic source team member, or other? We'll take a quick minute to get the results of the poll.
Looks like we have a broad spectrum of attendees today. Everybody looking for some more information on DMS and where are our hidden costs and what your DMS should be doing for you. So, well, now that you've told us who you are, we'll just give you a brief introduction to Ed and myself. I'm 25 years of dealership experience plus 13 years now on the software DMS side of the fence. Worked through all of the departments in the dealership just about, learned my way through, and now on the software side have kind of done the same. And many years of experience driving for dealer excellence and creating a superior customer experience for your dealership. Ed?
Similar to Tracy, I've worked in the industry for a long time, going on over 17 years. I started as a DMS accounting installer, eventually learned all the products, and have developed a passion for serving dealers, working as a consultant and account manager, as well as sales and leadership roles for Solera and other large DMS provider. So with that, we'll go through the agenda. We're going to talk a little bit about who Solera is, what are the key considerations for a DMS change. We'll dive into the Automate dealer management system, talk about some advanced reporting and modern workflows for the dealership, and then what does the install process look like? So who is Solera? Solera is the largest provider of automotive software in the world. We operate in over 80 countries with 8,000 employees working hard every day to serve dealers and the automotive industry. We have over 9,000 clients and offer 30 solutions to the industry. Solera has 4 pillars. Fleet Solutions provides technology to manage and monitor fleets and driver performance. Vehicle Claims delivers AI and digital workflows for the insurance claims processing, decisions, and repairs. In Vehicle Repair, our tools enable quoting and estimating for shops to streamline the service experience. And in Dealer Solutions, our focus for today, we help auto dealers and manufacturers. So from a Dealer Solutions perspective, Solera saw an opportunity to serve the dealer. We provide solutions from DMS to CRM to websites, marketing, AI, and beyond. There were many great solutions, such as Automate, that needed a home that are now part of the Solera family. We've integrated the products, so it's a seamless experience across the suite. Our DealerSocket CRM, coupled with Revenue Radar data mining, is one of the most widely used CRMs in the market. Inventory Plus combines vehicle appraisal, pricing, and syndication in a single tool. AutoPoint Marketing helps dealers with service follow-up via Facebook, Instagram, email, direct mail. AutoPoint BDC Solutions can receive or make outbound service calls from our call center, as well as assist in service appointment scheduling with a live person or AI. We'll dive into the Automate DMS in a little bit, which is used by over 2,000 dealerships nationwide. Our MPI and service suite, built upon a single platform, encompass the entire service workflow from appointment, messaging, pickup and delivery, write-up, inspection, and payment. LoadJack can not only be sold for profit in F&I, but is a dealership operations tool to monitor vehicle inventory, prevent theft, and assist in month-end reconciliations. DealerFire provides single store or group websites for dealerships. In addition to our suite, we have partners such as Car Wars for call tracking, Dealer Phoenix for reporting, and I'd be remiss not to note our merchant service offering, Perry, which has been providing significant savings to dealers on monthly credit card processing fees. Across our customer base, we work with some of the largest public or privately owned groups in the industry, as well as some of the smallest. We leverage feedback from the entire market as we innovate and enhance products to bring value to dealers. In a little-known fact, 10 out of the top 10 largest U.S. dealer groups utilize Solera products. Now let's dive into the top 3 considerations for a DMS change. In speaking with consultants and industry DMS experts, it is estimated that combined DMS companies complete up to 1,000 DMS conversions each year. This equates to somewhere in the neighborhood of 7,500 to 10,000 DMS migrations in the last 10 years. For a long time, dealers had serious reservations about making a system change. Today, you should feel much more at ease if a DMS switch is on your horizon. And now Tracy will take us through the top 3 considerations in the process.
Thanks, Ed. In the top 3 considerations for a DMS change, we know nobody goes into it lightly because it is such a change to your structure and your everyday business. The first thing you should we recommend and people think about when they're coming up on a DMS possibility is, what is the DMS capability and how can it be configured to best suit my needs as a dealer in a dealer group? Network and hardware, what's involved? Is it, do I own my printer? So when I'm looking for a new DMS, do I need to get all new equipment? Is my existing equipment compatible with the new DMS? What are those extra expenditures that I may have to, or I may wind up incurring, not just in my monthly spend for a DMS provider, but those ancillary items as far as hardware, firewalls. Is my network, security high enough quality, and is the DMS security high enough quality? We've had several new federal regulations, updated federal regulations come into play in the last 18 months that, really rocked some DMS worlds as far as protecting the dealership's information, dealership data, and customer data. Another part of the configurability of a DMS system is, your bread and butter, your name database, your customers, whether they're sales, service, parts, all 3, your vendors. Is your name file a unified name file? So you're maintaining one name file that everybody is part of, all those different module areas of a DMS are part of, or are they separate? Independent module, name file modules. So do you have a list of service customers? And then you have, they may be the same people, but are your parts customers another list and maybe another control number or another, that all takes up space and storage on your DMS in your system. So you need to know, have an understanding of how the DMS structures your name database and what kind of capacity does that entail for you. Do I want a shared name database for, my dealer group? For, maybe I own 3 Honda stores and 2 Chrysler stores and a Mitsubishi store. Maybe I want my Honda people to be able to share, my 3 stores to be able to share that Honda customer database, whether it be for service, for sales, or do I want it across all? Or do I want each store to remain independent and own their own customer database? Another idea under configurability especially is in the Automate DMS Solera product, we call it intercompany accounting. A lot of people call it centralized accounting. Can I centralize my accounting functions in a corporate headquarters? Whether, sometimes it's just centralized as far as geography. So that all the people, even again, if I have, 4 Honda stores and 3 Chrysler stores, maybe all the majority of the accounting work is all being done from one corporate headquarters. But you have an individual who does the Honda, Honda store 1 and an individual that does Honda store 2. So all those different configurations need to be thought through when you're looking at a DMS, and whether a DMS, especially from a training standpoint, where do we need to be, where do they need to have that training? How many people, especially, based on, is it centralized? And then centralized posting, so you have a corporate headquarters that wants to be able to post out to all the stores, advertising expense so that you're getting group discounts and other, supply expenses and supply contracts, right down to paper and toner and ink if you can buy in bulk, but, split up the expense across the board. It's easier to be able to not so that you have that centralized capability of making one posting and distributing that expense across the store instead of having to have each store post their own expense individually. Reporting, what kind of reporting can I have on a DMS? Is it, are dashboards available? Multiple dashboards available? Are there multiple views available? They're an executive dashboard down, to a general management dashboard, to a department dashboard. Can I share those views so that I know all of my sales managers are looking at the same structure of numbers? So if I, as a dealer principal, can call and say, hey, I noticed on the dashboard for your, for your store, you're down, you've got 75 open ROs. What's going on with those? You can share those. Can I share those dashboard views with other, with other users so they know what I'm looking at and they can, they can monitor and manage their pieces of the business. Enterprise reporting, can I report, consolidate and collect my data for all my stores and look at it however I choose to. Back to this, the dealer group. Can I look at my group of Honda stores compared to each other? Can I look at my entire 10 stores compared to each other? Can I look at my region, my El Paso region versus my Albuquerque region? Whatever those pieces of the pie and however you want to carve them up, can I view that information that way? How much time and expense, storage, manipulation are we spending exporting things out of our DMS to Excel? Based on the size of my group, and do I have the personnel, sometimes it's bodies, personnel to be able to take that data out of the DMS, put it into Excel and manipulate it in other ways. What kind of reporting capabilities within my DMS can I utilize to lessen that Excel load? Capabilities and configuration for the DMS also includes, is there a mobile workflow available? A lot of OEMs, a lot of dealerships want to go to the customer. That extended experience of, not everybody comes in or wants to come into the store for everything. Can I put 12, trucks on the road, service trucks, to get on the road and go to the customers and perform maintenance services and some other minor repairs and those other kinds of things? Do I have that mobile capability to be able to do that and stay in the DMS? So I'm not having to, yes, I can do that, but then at the end of the day, I've got to come back and do an hour's worth of paperwork because I got to sit down on a computer and then enter it into the DMS. What can I take with me? What's portable? Can I collect payments? That paperless, that paperless goal, that touchless goal. Sometimes it's, getting as simple as, can I get a customer to pay their bill without having to come into the store? The other capability you want to think about is document storage. We have found in some cases that not all DMSs store or archive their data, excuse me, within the DMS itself. They have add-on features, DSDA and other storage items, so that if you are going to do a DMS conversion, your new DMS might not be able to get to that data because it's not really in the DMS. So where is that stored? Where are my documents and my archives truly stored, and how are they accessible? Excuse me. The next piece of consideration is it a partnership? You as a dealer are an integral part of the DMS business. So we at Automate and at Solera treat you as a partner. You are our partner. We need to go into this hand in hand. Is that how other DMS companies are treating you? Or are they just collecting your money? They're telling you how to do your business because that's how their software works. Your data conversion. We truly believe your data is yours. You own it. You own your customer base. You own your history. Other DMSs, you need to ask those questions. If I need to retrieve my data or retrieve my, if I wanted to pull out my customer name list, can I do that? Is it mine? Is it accessible? What is available for me to pull from, one DMS and transfer it to another? The other part of the partnership is the collaboration of training. It has to be a partnership when you're talking about training. We have to have the you need to have your people engaged in the training. Bottom to top, top to bottom. Everybody touches the system in some way, shape, or form, typically. Enters the name into the system, from a BDC as a lead to, a service writer writing up a service car. What is that? What a continual training is available. I think training for a conversion is one piece of the puzzle, getting you up and running on a DMS. But then what happens? Where does a DMS, what does a DMS offer beyond that? What's available? What does it cost? Every time I call and say, hey, I got a new service manager, what can I get them for training? Is there a cost associated with that? These are all those, some of those little things that when you're looking at the value and the price of the DMS, these are all pieces that may not come to mind first, but you want to keep those in the back of your mind to know, what is the overall cost of my DMS and functionality? With training comes customer, is also customer support. What kind of support can I expect? And I know everybody who pitches you a DMS, and we will say, the same thing, that, we have world-class support, but we back it up. We walk the talk. What is their level? What is your frontline tier one support level software knowledge? Is it just software knowledge? Do they just know how the software works? Or do they truly know how you're trying to use it? Is there an industry knowledge to back that up? And think about all software companies, anything, banking software or, nursing. My mother, worked in nursing home software. They went through their equivalent of a DMS change. Well, the people who came in to train it or the people on their support staff, they knew how the software worked, but they didn't know how the end user couldn't understand how the end user was trying to use it. And didn't want to. So they just kept saying, well, this is how it is. This is how it works. When you're talking a DMS, this is your lifeline. This is the skeletal system of the human body that you are thinking of removing and putting new bones back in. They all need to, still perform the same functions, your processes. They might do it a little differently, but they still, the main processes are yours. And they need to be able to perform those within, and keep you up and running efficiently. In addition to customer support, what may be in addition to customer support? We offer performance management. It's a consultant for a DMS. There aren't a lot of those true consultants out there. Our consultants have the industry knowledge, the DMS product knowledge, a lot of multiple DMS product knowledge so that they know maybe what you're used to, especially in a new situation or conversion situation, what you're coming from. And now, in our product, if it were our product you were coming to, here's the different ways that, here's best practices. Here is, this is what we've seen work. This is what's been tried and tested. This is what has failed. We're trying, who can they educate you and your dealerships or your the capabilities of save you time. Don't make this, don't save you from making mistakes others have made and learned and help you, give you the ability to learn from them. And then part of the partnership is, pricing and terms. We, hand in hand, multiple platform pricing, what kind of billing can we look, are we in a partnership with? How do we integrate and make that better? Which brings me to what kind of integrations do a DMS offer? There's lots of theories out there. One throat to choke to, I like to keep, my tentacles. I like to keep all my tentacles out there so that I don't, if I have a problem with one, it isn't a problem with all. So there's lots of theories as to how integrations, how people look at integrations. OEM, manufacturers for your franchise dealers. We integrate, what are the true integrations available with the manufacturers? We integrate with almost all the manufacturers. There's very few high end that we do not, because they don't offer DMS integrations. That we, of course, we wouldn't have either. And what is that integration? Everybody can tell you they have, oh, yep, we've got OEM integrations. We've got Chrysler integrations. We've got Volvo integrations. We've got this, we've got that. But what does that integration really look like? Because there are multiple pieces to it. Is there sales and inventory integrations? Can I download, my vehicle invoices directly from Ford? Can I see pull up a PDF copy of the invoice without me having to scan it in? Can I pull up all my option codes? Can I see an in-transit status from Ford on my vehicles that are on their way in? The industry has shifted so many times of, we're selling vehicles before they're on the ground. We've done that. We're here, we find the inventory levels are starting, really starting to come back and be on the ground. But that doesn't stop us from, we want to keep the turnover going. So let's sell it whenever we can. If we have a customer that wants something that's coming in, let's sell it and get a commitment to it. Can we send our RDRs, our delivery reports to the, is that an integration? So it's a push of a button and I don't have to re-enter data on the OEM site to report that delivery. Parts integration. parts pricing updates, parts inventory ordering, service integration, report service history, warranty integration. How easily can I submit my warranty through your DMS? Anything like those are all different pieces, and they, yes, we can say we have Volvo integrations, but do we have all of that Volvo integrations or all of that OEM reporting back and forth? The other, piece of integrations is other third parties, kind of everybody else, your HomeNets, your vAutos, your, all the other pieces, your websites. Ed talked, Solera is a total vehicle solution for a dealership. We have, the broad spectrum of solutions that would answer every need that you may have. But we also understand that, maybe we may not be right for everybody. We believe we can be, but, we respect the industry that, there are other options out there. We want to, what are those integrations? Are there, what are the fees of that? People spend a lot of money on integration fees. We personally don't charge our dealers any integration fees. We work with the vendors. Our relationship on those third parties are with the vendors. We just allow and keep that data flow open for our dealerships, depending on who they want to use. We want to, we want that to help make that available to them. What is the direction of data on your integrations and your DMS? Is it a one-way? Is it just from, the DMS to the third party? Is it just from the third party in? Is it bi-directional? All these are pieces of the puzzle that is much broader than what DMS do I have and how much does it cost? These are all those little pieces. So here you can see, we're talking about those third parties. We understand that we may not be the right solution across the board for everybody. So we still want to be able to play well with others. That's just our motto, that's what we've built on is, okay, we understand you may not like, something about our CRM doesn't work. We will learn from that and make our CRM improve and take that as an improvement to our CRM. But we also know you need to conduct business in the meantime. So let's, we have all the open API available to, here's a small list of the partners that use our, what we call OpenMate or our open API integration portal. So let's ask you, we're going to ask you another question. What do you believe or what do you think is the primary reason to consider changing a DMS, considering it's such a painful process? What would be your primary reason for considering another DMS? We'll give you just a minute to tell us. All right. So, kind of in line with that, this is, some additional information, a little wider poll than, just our audience today. But I think it reflects the same, the same answers, the same results. Primary reason, the biggest reason most dealers and dealer groups are looking towards a DMS is price. They're always looking for the ability to save themselves money wherever they can. With that price is value. What am I getting for that money? So it may not be the lowest price, but if I'm getting the most for my money, the biggest value for my money, then that's a big part of the decision. Our Automate costs, on average, 50% less than our competitors. The value, the benefit, the cost of what you're getting, for that money is, we have a broad spectrum of products that we can offer within the Automate family and tailor to your business and the way you do business. User interface, user experience. Many, many years ago when Automate was started, it was for car people, by car people. And we have held to that adage, and that is our motto. So that Our user interfaces, we have been told and we believe that are one of the easiest to adapt to for users to adapt to. It's written in a language they understand. It's written in everyday language. If I need to print a repair order, the option on the screen says print repair order. If I need to sell a part, the option on the screen says sell a part. So, we're not dumbing it down, but we're just, the simplicity of it aids to the efficiency of it. So people can get through their job functions more efficiently and with fewer errors because it's in a language they know and they can get right to the point and right to what they need to do as far as the user interface. And then the other side of that user interface is support. When they can't get to what they need to get to, or they can't do what they need to accomplish as a user, who's there to, that can help them? We have, is it phone support? Is it just, AI chat support? Where does that come from? What does that support model look like? What's my level of support for my executive staff? Because they're looking at it from different perspectives. From is there, consultant or performance management report, support as far as, are we using the system right? Is anybody looking at that? You're busy doing your business every day, not necessarily involved in evaluating your DMS of, is it being used effectively?
All right. So a lot of different reasons, similar to what Tracy was talking about. Interesting to see the results. So when it comes to Automate, we've actually been around since the 70s. Like Tracy talked about, our focus has been on the customer service as well as product innovation. So the pricing is very competitive, and the dealers tell us it's intuitive, but it encompasses all the key components they'd expect of a DMS. And if you think about Automate, it was architected after we knew what a DMS needed to do. So it's reduced the number of screens and keystrokes and different function codes you need to know to complete a task.
So a little bit more about, what makes us different, what other, how do we answer all of those questions differently for our DMS, our DMS customers and potential customers? Support. We have award-winning support. 89% of our calls are resolved in the first call. Our average call length is 5 minutes, 14 seconds. We offer phone call, chat, email resolutions. Sometimes, you don't have time to sit on the phone or make a phone call to get the answer, but you still need it pretty quickly. But you can't stop and be on the phone. You're an F&I manager who's got somebody sitting in front of you. That, that variety type of support type and the class that we put ourselves in and hold ourselves to in the support. Virtual training. We offer virtual free. Any remote training that is done, we can schedule, and it is of no cost to our dealers. It's part of the process. That is from, you get a new hire and you want the consistency of training how the system should be used rather than, how the last person used it. Free software upgrades. So as we're improving the system, you receive the benefit of those improvements at no additional cost. There are, integration fees. I've mentioned this before. We do not charge our dealers integration fees. I know there's other DMSs out there that their integrations fee are $300, $700, depending on the third party that you need to integrate with. You're being charged, you could be charged by your DMS, a CDK, a Reynolds, a dealer track, for those integration fees. We will not charge them with the dealer. We handle that with our mutual vendors. And then we have the top-notch data conversion that we are continually improving that process. One DMS doesn't help support another DMS pulling their data. So a lot of those innovations and a lot of that data conversion, you learn, we've had to teach ourselves on how to get it and come up with innovative ways and be able to do that. And we have the best in class up to be able to pull that and do that data conversion so that it's clean and quality and as thorough as it can possibly be.
Business problems we solve. So today it can be really hard to find employees. I hear that every day when I'm talking to dealers. One of the areas Automate helps dealers is by providing a more user-friendly platform so you can hire the best candidate for the job, not necessarily someone who knows a certain DMS. It's also easier to train new staff, promote from within, and we'll help hold your hand along the way with the DMS performance managers and the customer support teams that Tracy talked about. When you think about the tech stack in a dealership, if you've ever stepped into the computer closet, you know what I'm talking about. Historically, some DMS companies have required dealers to purchase their proprietary network equipment, hardware, printers, and sometimes it causes duplication of equipment, finger pointing, too many cooks in the kitchen. We allow dealers to provide their own equipment, which can alleviate the back and forth as well as extra costs. On customer experience, who suffers when your staff member is struggling to get through the DMS? The customer and their experience. In addition to ease of use, we provide mobile workflows and signatures that can streamline the customer experience, as well as texting from the DMS to modernize how we communicate with clients. KPIs, analytics, eliminating Excel. So often we find dealers using Excel for this, Excel for that, many manual reports that are time intensive for managers to update, makes it difficult for executives to get to the KPIs when they're away from the store. So we launched Dealer Phoenix, which has simplified the reporting process for dealers and dealer groups, giving the owners and the key managers quick access to monitor and manage and make decisions about the business. On expenses, with the inflation, the margin compression, other factors in the economy, dealers are always looking to reduce expenses. Like Tracy mentioned, we don't charge for integration fees. You can bring your own network and hardware, as we discussed. And by our design and history, we can provide a similarly robust DMS, but at a lower price. And then finally, when you think about configurability, whether you're a single point store, multi-brand store, dealer group, you want to have intercompany accounting, shared or non-shared name files, we can be very accommodating. If you have, say, multiple OEMs in your group and you'd like to have the OEM-based financial statements, but you guys like to compare group-wide with GM or Ford, we can accommodate that, no problem. Jumping into the reporting, we talked about this previously. So one of the areas we can assist is eliminating Excel and access to the key analytics regarding the dealership. So we unveiled at NADA Dealer Phoenix, our most recent innovation in the DMS, constructed by Praveen Tumvita, one of the original Automate programmers. And now we have over a few hundred dealers using the software in the U.S. It enables reporting across departments, comments, communication in between teams, collaboration on things such as contracts in transit, commissions, warranty schedules, staff productivity, financials, and more. So, quick poll for the audience. We'd like to see who is currently utilizing signatures in their dealership today electronically. Are you doing it in sales? Are you doing it in service? Sales and service, or no electronic signatures? Some interesting results here. We see some sales only, some service only, both sales and service. We see no electronic signatures, pretty much an even split. It looks like a quarter of the audience representing each one of those categories. So it makes me laugh a little bit to think back when I started in the industry, we were printing forms on the impact printer. And then, we were migrating away from F&I impact printing to laser printing. And to get the F&I managers to let go of that noisy impact printer was actually pretty tough. And today we enable e-signatures for all departments of the dealership. This is an example of our e-deal solution. The car deal can be signed electronically on the tablet. It could be emailed to the customer to sign electronically away from the store. And then depending on the bank or the state, you can sign 100% digitally. In some states, we have dealerships who are 100% e-signing of the car deal. And then furthermore, this creates a electronic digital deal jacket within the Automate system.
I know this is a very busy slide and lots of colors. It's very pretty, but I'm going to kind of simplify it for you. Dealer groups we know can be a variety of definitions. Franchise, they've got franchise stores. They've got some independent used car stores to go along with it. They maybe have an RV or power sports store or stores, marine. They've got a couple management companies. They've got an insurance agency. They've got lots of pieces to their corporate structure. Do you want to be able to manage all of those pieces on a single platform? We've done it. We do it now. It depends on what you want and how you want to run your businesses. And, but we kind of the a la carte features, uniqueness of Automate lends itself to be able to adapt to your business model. Maybe you've got just a service satellite spot. So you really need just one full DMS with a couple of service satellites, or a sales satellite and a separate service satellite, or to run your RV or your power sports store. We can adapt and kind of a la carte the pieces for your business with our DMS. Can another DMS do that for you if that's how you want to model your business? So kind of in anticipation of wrapping up and bringing on your questions, some of the frequently asked questions we do see when people are shopping for a DMS is, can you handle a large store and or large dealer group? I have a huge wholesale parts business. I have, I do a lot of fleet business with, I do a lot of police fleet business depending on my location. I do a lot of, box trucks. Our DMS has done that, is doing that, and can continue to. A DMS should offer you those consistencies of being able to run 1 or 6 or 12 or 45 stores, and putting consistencies in place, and those consistencies add to the efficiencies and lower your cost. If you're doing business efficiently and consistently, you can trade personnel when need be. Maybe you've got a tent sale, a credit union sale going on in a certain region. You can move some resources over there. Single DMS or, a DMS platform, ease of use can lend itself to those, you being able to use your own resources rather than bringing it in from the outside. What does intercompany mean? We talked about this before. It's, centralized accounting. Does centralized mean centralized geographically? So I'm housing all of my accounting people in one place, or is it consolidated or centralized posting? I want to post once and bill all my stores. It means both to us. So, what can I do to eliminate Excel? And just alluded to this with our Dealer Phoenix and our other reporting capabilities. Time that's spent to manipulate that data once it leaves the DMS is time added and taken away from the efficiencies. Tell me about support. We've talked about this in many of our slides over and over again. What does the support model look like? We've told you, you've got frontline knowledgeable support. You've got account managers, you've got performance managers that are, consulting on how you're utilizing the system, how you can better utilize the system to serve your business needs and business models. And then, what are the integration fees? Are there integration fees? We've talked about this several times. Not to our dealers. We do not charge our dealers integration fee. OpenMate is our open API module, our open API threshold. So.
All right, a couple quick testimonials. The first one here from Tom Four at the Cunis Automotive Group, one of our AutoMate clients. They have over 40 stores on the system, speaking to the cost, the support, the ability to grow with the platform, and then the reporting and the fixed ops capabilities. Then we have Betty here from Laura, the largest GM store in the country. Speaks very highly of AutoMate after her years of experience with other systems, and the DMS has been able to accommodate their growth and the high volume.
We wanted to quick touch on, what should the installation process look like? Yes, cost is, our biggest consideration for changing, but the process itself is just as important. There's a pre-install, pre-implementation call, overview call. We explain what the process should look like, and any DMS should go through this. We explain what the process looks like from our standpoint. What does the timeline look like? And this happens well in advance. We start, pulling your data, QAing your data, making sure what we're pulling is accurate information, so that when you are live on the new DMS, you're really just picking up where you left off. And you want faith and liability that is accurate. Then, we test your setups. We verify your setups with you. We walk through them, make sure that things are going to flow the way you want them to. Sometimes people are throwing and making changes. They maybe change their entire chart of accounts. They think, new DMS, let's just rip all the Band-Aids off at the same time. Might as well, one change to go through. Then we do, then there's the actual launch on site with a full fleet of trainers, at least, for a trainer in every department, so that they are hands-on training. Our initial launch and training install process is 1 week. We just got a dealer back from another DMS that because they were on week 6 of training and still couldn't get the system to work or operate the way they wanted it to. It painful. They called us, and we heard from several of them pretty much in tears. And then, following that install, we're just, our trainers don't just walk away and say, yep, good luck, see ya. There's a handoff to your account management team and, your avenues of daily support from there.
If you're interested in learning more about AutoMate, we'd be happy to visit you, provide an assessment. Tracy and I will share our contact information at the end of the call, and please feel free to send us an email, a text, or give us a call to get started.
We truly appreciate your taking the time to have our input, and we hope you see if we have some questions.
All right.
Spend some time answering them.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Tracy. And everyone, there is a Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. Go ahead and type something in there, and we'll try to cover as many as we can with our remaining time. Here's one. How does AutoMate support dealers after the install?
Tracy, this might be a good one for you because that's one of the things your team helps with.
Yep. So as the director of account management, performance management for AutoMate and IDMS, this is my role. This is my team's role. So for after implementation on the AutoMate system, you have frontline support. You can call an 800 number. You can send a chat. You can send an email. And that is basic, quick how-tos. The screen, something doesn't look right. And then also my team's level of support is, that proactive performance management, monitoring how the system is being used. If Are you using your your e-deal, your e-sign features of the system that the dealer is paying for, but is it being utilized? Is your, what does your RO, open RO list look like, and how can we best, help you with your efficiency? So that's kind of the performance management piece of it as well.
And here's another. Do the Automate trainers come on site? And if so, how long?
I'll take that one too. In one of my many job roles, I was part of that team. So yes, the Automate trainers come on site for a new install. We put a minimum of one trainer in each department so that they can focus on that department's need, that role's need, sales and finance, accounting, service, parts, body shop. So they are on site for a full week. They are on site for 5 days. And then they are a follow-up, week 2 of implementation. It's kind of a blend of the trainers. You have accessibility to reach the trainers if need be, because they've been in your store, they know what your processes are. But you also have the frontline, our regular support as well, customer support. So if it's a quick phone call or whatever, a quick how-to, we can certainly, they certainly accommodate that.
All right, here's the last one here I see, unless more come in. And Chuck, prepare to come back on the webcam in just a moment. Can I reuse my printers for my current DMS provider?
I'll grab this one. Great question. So the first question to ask is do you own the printers, right? So some DMS companies offer a lease or a purchase option on the printers. If they're your printers and they meet our specs, they can be reused. But if they're owned, if it's a lease printer from your incumbent, then you'd have to return it to them. If the printers are yours that you own and your DMS doesn't require printers today, if it matches our specs from our printer guidelines, it will work with our system. In the sales process, we provide a spec sheet for PCs, network, and printers, so what type of equipment will work with Automate.
Thank you, Ed. Chuck, why don't you come back on here and we can get ready to transition to the last portion of the session.
Well, I just like to say that I'm pretty sure that the cost of your DMS system is not cheap. And I would encourage you guys that are watching this webinar to contact Ed and Tracy. And just the points that they brought out here, and they probably got way more points to bring up to talk to you about, but it might be worth your time to find out exactly how much you're paying for all these things and how much you don't have to be paying for anymore. So here's their contact information is on this slide that's up here right now. The next slide that we're going to have up here has got our QR code on it. We're going to put this webinar, it'll be on our site here in the next day or so. Definitely scan this thing, give us your info, and we'll send you a copy of this. Review it again just to give you an idea, and then I would definitely try to get a hold of Ed and Tracy to talk about this. So Ed, Tracy, thanks a lot for this webinar. I think this is an eye-opener for a lot of people because they've spent a lot of dough on this. So thank you very much.
We appreciate it and glad to help.
Appreciate the opportunity.
So for anyone who's watching this thing and you're thinking about how much money you could save on your DMS system, how much money are you leaving on the table with everything that you're doing? The Aberdeen Group, which is this big study group, they say that that most companies or most organizations leave 25% of their spend on the table every month. And we know dealers spend 5% of sales on indirect expenses in a consistent basis. If you're a $100 million dealership, that 5% equates to $5 million. Here's the key to this whole thing. 25%, that looks like about 1.25 million on an annual basis, is what you can save with Strategic Source. There's 150 different categories, and it makes it pretty confusing. All of your spend should be done in about 100 of those categories. So your cost reduction opportunity for what you're spending is 25%. Part of the reason that so many dealerships deal with this, or that this happens to them, is because 95% of them have decentralized purchasing, which means every individual dealership can purchase things on their own, so there's no real control of what of the money that's being spent or trying to control any of those costs. So the business problem that I think dealers, or that we feel that dealerships facing, is that there's well over 130 categories, and it can be pretty daunting about that, because the majority of your money should just be spent in about 100 of those categories. Part of what the dealership challenge is that there are so many of those categories, that 130 plus on there, is how do they really approach those? Do they come up with some type of a plan to attack those categories to see how much they can spend? Not really sure. We realize that they're short-staffed. There's not a plan set in place for that. And that's exactly what Strategic Source does for you. And we act like your purchasing department. Expense challenges that you have. This is a big deal. We know that you're overpaying by 25% on your services. There's too many expense categories to try to deal with all the time. Too many suppliers to manage. Invoices. Think of all the invoices you get from all of those suppliers. It's a ton. And there are a few discounts and rebates that you end up being able to take advantage of because it's too spread out. If you look at this chart, this just shows you from 25 million all the way up to a $300 million account and what that savings can be. Look at that monthly minimum savings that you can experience. If you're 300 million, that's $312,000 a month that you can save. Strategic Source can open up that piggy bank for you. It's all your money. We're just giving it back to you. Our expense category scope. There are 72 categories right in here, and these are just kind of general categories. And I would say that I lost my train of thought here a minute. Sorry about that. Regardless of what kind of a business you're at, if you're a dealership, you're a church, a manufacturing company, you're going to spend the majority of your money in these 72 categories that are right here. If you own your facility, or even if you're leasing it, you're going to pick up these 15 other categories that are in here. And if you're an automobile dealership, you have 56 more of these categories that you're going to pick up. So when you look at 130 to 150 categories, it can be pretty overwhelming. What can we do about that? We've got some Strategic Source solutions for you. Our profit improvement program. Problems that we solve in this area are with high expenses, little time, and poor profitability. What we do is we do a financial analysis. We do some spend category planning for you. We do some sourcing for you. We implement those results that come up for you. And we do a spend management review, and we audit all of those savings that we show you. So you get a guaranteed ROI. Our strategic spend analysis. This is more of a strategic look at your expenses. We analyze them, we put them into the right category buckets, and then we build a plan for you to execute. Again, the client benefits from this as a real organized plan. It gives you a staff planning tool, but the whole goal is to save you 25%. Contract tracker. I can tell you from this personally. I've been sitting in this office and I've seen dealerships ship us 100 to 150 different categories, different contracts that they have to keep track of. The benefits for our contract tracker is that it keeps those contracts, it keeps visibility of those contracts. It gives you an advance alert when the expiration date is coming up, well in advance of that. Makes you start to think that there could be some risk mitigation here, because you may need to renegotiate some of the things that you did before, especially after you've had some time to see how those have gone over the term of that contract. Our spend management suite has got a lot of things that are going on here. We've got our contract tracker, expense edge, spend management coaching, and learning. When we do a lot of training in the spend management area, and that's exactly the type of thing that we can do for your team as well. Expense Edge. Our Expense Edge solution was created out of a database of thousands and thousands of price comps. And believe me, we've been recording all these price comps for better than 20 years. We're kind of similar to Home Depot. We provide the tools and the solutions for you to do the work, and we give you the data points to keep your costs down and getting those things done. Spend management learning. We teach your team to do what our team does. We have trained many folks, and we do many webinars a year in Purchasing 101, 102, and 103, and we can help develop your skill set that you need in your staff as well. Well, hopefully this has been a little helpful presentation today. Again, scan the QR code, and we'll get the information out to you right away. Thanks again to Ed and Tracy of Solera for their presentation. Pretty eye-opening and giving you lots of things to think about. As a last note, Strategic Source does not take any type of compensation from our suppliers. What we do know is that we have vetted them, we know that they're what their product is, and we know how competitive their results can be. And we would encourage you to take a deeper look at the supplier's offerings. Thanks again for attending today. We appreciate it. Look for you next time. Thanks. David?
Yeah, thank you, Chuck. And before everyone goes, we have a quick 2-question survey for the time spent. We love your feedback. Thanks also for Ed Murray and Tracy Van Allen. A lot of excellent information today. And we're doing a wrap now. So there you go. Thanks for completing that survey. And we look forward to you joining us on future Profit Improvement Webinar Series events with Strategic Source. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of the week.